type for me, aren't you? Stand up.
Hello everyone, I'm sure you'll agree, just an unbelievable night, and delighted to give to you for questions still the WBA and IBF Super Middleweight Champion of the World, Froch. Ask away.
So the legacy is almost complete, Cole?
Well, definitely. I mean, I said from the start this is potentially a legacy fight because I've had such a long, fantastic career. I've been involved in so many top level fights. I said my legacy was potentially at stake, and it was, because unfortunately in boxing people remember you for your last fight. I mean, you'll always remember the greats like Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield and Lennox Lewis because they were brilliant. A couple of their names like Holyfield and even Roy Jones Jr., who was one of the best fighters on the planet, skillful wise and speed. You look back on their career and say, you know what, he got beat by Grandianti, he got knocked out by Tarver, and he did this and that. And it sort of tarnishes their reputation as fighters, fantastic fighters. And I didn't want to go out in my career or finish my career because my career would have been over. I would have retired if I'd lost. I didn't want to go out and be remembered in the biggest night in history, the biggest British fight in the history of boxing post-war. I didn't want to be remembered as being a loser. I take nothing away from George Groves, but you know, I came here tonight to win. And I lived like a month for 3 months, and I listened to everything Rob McCracken said for 3 months. It's been hard, I put my body through pain, but if you prepare correctly, you get the results. And that's what I did.
Carl, are you allowed a voluntary now? Will you take yourself to Vegas to fight?
I'm going to have the summer off and relax with my family before I even discuss what I'm doing with boxing. That was one of the best nights in my whole career, in front of 80,000 in the National Stadium. So I don't have to make any decisions yet, and I'm not even going to think about it. If that fight there is all I do now in boxing, I will be a happy man. Now, I'm not saying that's the end for me. What I'm saying is that for me will be hard to top. I don't know what Eddie can produce or offer me now is going to be anything close to that, because that was just unbelievable. But there is one box that's not ticked, and that's Las Vegas. All the greats before me have ticked that box in their career and been there. And I've not had my name up in the lights in the fight capital of the world. And it would be nice to do that before I do decide to bow out. So we'll have to. I need a long thing. I just want to get back and have a beautiful summer with my beautiful family. And I've got Rachel, Rocco, and Natalia at home. I've not seen them for 3 months. I want to get that done, have a lovely summer, and then I'm going to sit down with Rob and Eddie and work out what I'm going to do. But I don't need to make any decisions for sure.
But Carl, does that rule out the mandatory against De Gale then?
Well, James De Gale made himself mandatory. He fought well tonight and won, but I'm not in a position where I need to defend against the mandatory because I've just done that twice. So I've got a voluntary defence. I can fight Grant if I want.
Carl, considering the question marks over the first fight, how easy was it?
Very, very sad. I know what you're going to say. It's one of the most satisfying nights of my life. I've had the weight of the world on my shoulders. I've had George Groves in the back of my ear roll for the last year because he was in my ear roll for the Kessler fight, May 2013. Now May 2014. I boxed Groves twice in a year, and I've just not heard the end of it. And I knew after the first fight, the response I got after 24 or 48 hours, that this fight was going to have to happen. And I said to Eddie, look, we're going to have to take this fight. Let's just sit back and just relax and think about what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. And Eddie did a fantastic job because, let's be honest, a National Stadium full like tonight, and the occasion the way it was, there's not many men. I don't want to blow too much smoke up Eddie's arse. But what a great job he's done putting this event on. It's just fantastic. Round of applause for Eddie. Not many people put this together tonight, and it's not just me. I'm doing the fighting, but I've got a team behind it. What Eddie doing the promoting, and Rob McCracken, he's my puppet master. You know, he pulls the strings, and I move to his jingles. It's as simple as that. We've got a great team, and tonight we pulled the result out of the bag that I knew I was going to get because I prepared so well. Myself through hell for 3 months, been away from my family, and I've they say you fail to prepare, you prepare to fail. I prepared to win tonight, and I came here so confident and relaxed. I'm in the changing room before so happy, and just had an hour's, tried to get an hour's sleep early. Usually when I'm lying in my bed an hour, fight there, trying to sleep, I can never sleep. But I get a good rest, and I shut my eyes and I think about the arena, I think about the fight. I'm going a bit deep now, but I'll just put you through it. As I'm thinking and concentrating, I'm thinking about the ring walk, getting in the ring, the tactics. My heart starts beating on the inside of my chest, and when I'm breathing, I can feel my heart interrupting my breathing pattern. And I was doing that today, and I was happy, and I calmed my heart rate down, and I was confident. I thought, you know what, I've done the hard work, this is all going to slot into place. And the nerves left me. I visualised walking into the ring, visualised giving George Groves my back, because I didn't want to stare at him for the whole announcement. And I gave him my back, I didn't look at him, because I didn't want to look at him. And I just stuck to the game plan. I listened to Rob, threw my jab, didn't rush in. Tactically I was perfect. I got hit with a few shots, because George Groves is a good fighter, he's very fast, he can punch a bit as well. But it just all came together like we planned, executed the game plan perfectly, I couldn't be happier. And next question.
How did you feel it was going in there, Carl?
I thought it was close. I feel I was probably 1, maybe 2 rounds ahead. I don't know what the score is. I think I was at least 1 or 2 rounds ahead. Some of the rounds you could have scored either way. I can remember losing rounds 6 or 7 because I got hit with silly shots. But I was behind the jab doing what I wanted to do. But I wasn't being busy enough. I was starting to back him up. But I wasn't backing him up enough. But like I said, I got quick hands. So I thought I was winning, thought I was in front. I knew the shot was going to come. I knew as soon as I closed the gap and I got him in range and I was working, I knew he was in trouble. He started breathing heavy, I was hurting him. So it was a matter of time. What was it, round 8? Still another 4 and a bit rounds left. That's the best part of 13 minutes. It's a long time to be in front of me with them little gloves on.
Is that the best punch you ever landed? I remember you knocking McGee out with a great
I
punch.
think that was a great little uppercut I landed on McGee with a broken hand to knock him out. But no, that was probably one of the best punches, because how do you define a good punch, what it means, and what happened was the whole George Groves saga and the history of the fight, the way people have looked back on it in years to come. That was the right hand that finished the job. So yeah, that was the best punch I've thrown in my life.
Did you see him open for that shot? Through the fight up until then?
I saw the shot before it came, yeah, definitely. I went over the top of his head with that right hand a couple of times. I got my feet under my body, kept my centre of gravity good, like the master taught me to do. And I've been keeping my feet under me for 12 weeks. Every now and again I step in behind the right hand and leave myself square on and come in flush, which is what I did in the first round of the last fight with George. And I've corrected that over 3 months of training and listening to Rob. And that punch just came, I just threw it. I didn't really try and knock him out, I didn't load up, I just threw the punch and just landed lovely. It was just a lovely, perfect peeler of a shot, and it closed the show, and that's what world-class fighters do.
George said he couldn't remember what you said to him at the end, Carl. What did you say to him?
I said he's young, he's very talented, he's skillful, he can come again. Don't sort of go home and be too down and out and depressed, and don't sort of go on a downward spiral because you're a great fighter. He was in that fight right up until that point. So I punched very hard. Unfortunately, you know, I caught you with a shot that finished you off, and that's boxing. It happens to some of the great fighters. You get hit with one shot. He's not quite got that toughness, George, which you need at top level. And I said that from the start anyway. You know, he's a good fighter. He's got quick hands. He's skillful. He's done a few bits as an amateur. But I just think that if I fight George Groves 10 times, I'll beat him 10 times. And that's not being big-headed. That's just because I've got ingredients that you can't teach. You know, you're born with them, and it's toughness and heart and a mindset and a determination. You can't train that. You know, I'm spiteful and I'm disciplined, and when I prepare correctly and I listen to Rob and do things right, they're the results. I've been saying it for the last probably 6 months that when I fight George Groves, I'll knock him out between round 6 and 9. I knocked him out in round 8. It was coming. But early on, I boxed. I used the boxing skills that caught me to, that won me 2 ABA titles and the first man to win an amateur bronze medal. People don't think I can box, and I can think I'm a warmonger. I like to get in there and get Mickey Ward, get stuck in and have a fight and a tear up, which I do. I enjoy that. But I can box behind the jab effectively, and I showed that tonight against somebody who's actually faster than me.
Rob, is that as well as Carl's boxed, you think?
I don't know. I'd have to have a look at it. I think he's boxed probably better before, but very difficult opponent, very quick and very good rear hand, very dangerous with it, and he kind of stops you coming in, George. But Carl applied himself in training for the last 3 months, and he worked hard, and he stuck to the plan, and eventually it was about closing the distance, and we keep George moving, and eventually the distance will shorten, and then the shots will be there. And I think that was the plan, and it kind of worked.
Rob, we've seen Carl win fights with 12 rounds of brawling stuff. We've seen him win with flurries of punches. Has that big one right hand been something he works on continuously?
Well, you practice everything. I'd be a liar to say we practiced it a lot. We practiced the left hook a lot, and we practiced his body shots, which I think in fairness were a lot quicker than they were last time. He was pretty rapid when he got anywhere near George with the body punching. I think that slowed George down a little bit, but Carl Froch is a tremendous fighter. He's a prize fighter. He knows how to box, and he knows how to fight, and he knows how to win at the elite level, and he's done that over the last 6 years consecutively. And he went on to do that tonight. But Groves is a tremendous prospect. I'm sure he'll come again.
Carl, one of the things you said last week was that George would never be a world champion. Have you changed your mind? Were you just saying that, or do you still believe that to be the case?
Well, I just said it earlier, he's missing one of them ingredients of toughness at top level. I just think that when he comes under fire and comes under pressure and starts taking shots like that, he needs to be able to stand up to it. So he needs to prove to me that you can take more than one right hand off a top level fighter. I'm a heavy puncher. I'm a concussive puncher, but I'm not a one punch knockout man. I'm not a Julian Jackson or Mike Tyson. My shots hurt. I flattened him tonight there, and that was, I'm not taking anything away from him. But
I think in fairness to George, I think he's took the fight still relatively early in his career, and he's just jumped in with Carl Froch, and it doesn't get any tougher really, does it? Let's be honest. I think in fairness to him, I think he's capable. I think Carl would agree he's capable of winning a world championships, just not against Carl Froch or possibly an Andre Wood. But there's other fighters he could possibly beat for a world title and become a world champion.
Yeah, I second that. It's about level. You can beat certain champions, certain level of world champion. You can definitely become a world champion. Yeah, to answer your question.
Will nights like tonight toughen him up?
Sorry.
Will nights like tonight and will that fight toughen him up?
Nights like tonight could ruin a fighter and end them, finish their career. They say what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. That could kill him. It could, you shouldn't use that word, but you know what I mean. It could finish him off, or it could get determination from that and come back better. It's down to his character now, down to him. But I would like to give him advice. I don't think he likes me.
Carl, you've had really great support from people in Nottingham, great numbers tonight. Just any words for them?
Unbelievable support from the British public, not just for me, it's for the whole event. I mean, this is the biggest fight post-war to take place on British soil, and it was a grudge match, domestic, and everybody got behind it. It didn't just capture the boxing public, it captured the British public, the non-boxing fan, the armchair fan. They've all come out and watched and supported this. Big thanks to the British public for getting behind it and to take all the credit for it. They didn't come out to see me, they came out to see George Groves and the fight for 2 world titles in a great British affair, a massive dust-up, and with the elevator needle and animosity. It's had all the ingredients of being great.
Can you at least say that you're a national superstar now?
Am I allowed to say I'm an international superstar? I can be a national superstar. What about international?
Carl, what have you learned, Carl, from these 2 fights about yourself? What have you learned? The way you prepared. Almost you're 36 now, and yet you've learned a lesson you can't take anyone for granted.
I think that's what I learned. Don't take it for granted. I'm at the top of my game, world champion, and if you take the foot off the gas and think, all I've got to do is turn up, you come unstuck. Hard work, hard to get to the top, it's just as hard to stay at the top. So I've learned that, every time I fight, that I need to prepare as hard every time. You can't just turn up and put the work in.
In terms of the sport and the show you've put on tonight, what do you think this will do for boxing in this country?
I think it's great for boxing. It's putting boxing on a pedestal, putting on a massive platform, and a lot of people that don't watch boxing have watched it tonight, and I think they'll have enjoyed what they see. So it's great. It's fantastic. It's honourable for me to be able to do that for my sport that I love. I've dedicated my life, heart and soul into it.
Eddie, what do you see being the next step for you and Carl?
That's something that Rob and Carl will always decide. I think it's difficult when the dust has settled from tonight for him to, you know, like you said, it's got to be something that makes him get out of bed early in the morning and do his hill run. It's got to be something that drives him. And he's a very self-motivated man anyways, but, you know, I know how much he put into that fight tonight, and he put everything into the camp and everything into the fight. And we had a chat at his flat today, and I said, it's as sad as it is, this fight means so much because this is what you're going to be remembered for. And he heaped so much pressure on himself that he's really time, like he said, he's had George Groves in his head and his ear for a year now, and it's time for him to have a lovely summer break and for me to carve out any opportunities and present them to Rob and Carl. And if they float his boat, then I'm sure he'll fight again. If they don't, who knows?
It's safe to assume that the mandatory challenge from James DeGale is unlikely at this point.
Not necessarily if it's a big enough fight. I mean, again, he won't know if that floats his boat till we sit down, look at the numbers and look at the potential of the fight. James is a mandatory challenger and he'll be doing everything he can to push his position. Carl has had back-to-back mandatories forced on him by the IBF, but also Carl doesn't box that often because, you know, he boxes twice a year really. So again, it's far too early to look at anything like that. I think James is a great young fighter and he'll definitely get his world title shot. And I'll go away and look at the landscape, and when Carl's had a great holiday, I'll present the opportunities to him. And if he likes what he sees, I guess he'll fight again. If he doesn't, then who knows?
Do you like the lights of the strip though, Eddie?
It's a silly question. but no, listen, he deserves a big night in Vegas. And of course the Chavez fight, we looked at it prior to this fight. You know, Golovkin, and always the opportunity of a dual pay-per-view is something that definitely whets the appetite of the promoter, and I know definitely whets the appetite for Carl Froch, an HBO pay-per-view and a Sky box office pay-per-view. You know, again, it's a decision for Rob and for Carl. It's just my job to present the opportunities, and if they like what they see, no doubt we'll go again.
It's a very exciting fight as well though in terms of the styles of the two men, isn't it?
Yeah, and Chavez is still a huge name, but again, honestly, tonight is about drawing a line through that, enjoying a great night for British boxing, and finishing a little era for Carl Froch of this. And you know, listen, it takes two to tango, and George Groves promoting this fight has been absolutely fantastic. He's made it the big event just as much potentially as Carl Froch, so you've got to take your hat off to him, and I'm sure he'll come again. But there was so much pressure on Carl Froch tonight, and if he would have lost tonight, it would have been gutting. And you just can't keep him down.
Have you taken Howard Foster out for dinner yet?
Well, that's a silly question because a referee has to act instantly, and I think what you saw tonight was that George Groves has the ability to be hurt, and you know he was definitely hurt tonight, and this is a very tough game. So I still back Howard Foster's decision, and you know that's that.
Eddie, following on from tonight, not to put any shadow at all over what Carl's achieved and what the gents achieved tonight, when you see that, when you're the promoter in the middle of that tonight, and you look around, there's 80,000 people, it was an amazing atmosphere, it was electric. Does it give you